I knew the moment I walked into the engagement hall that I didn't belong there, at least, not in their eyes. Crystal chandeliers glowed overhead. White roses lined every table. My brother Ethan stood at the center of it all, smiling like the golden child he'd always been. Beside him was his fiancée, Lauren, dressed in elegance and confidence, everything my parents adored. And then there was me. The quiet daughter. The underachiever. The one they loved reminding everyone about, what I was. I arrived alone, holding a single bottle of wine wrapped in plain black paper. No gold ribbon, no flashy label. My mother spotted it immediately. She leaned toward my aunt and whispered, loud enough for half the table to hear. She always does this, shows up with the cheapest thing she can find. My father laughed. Probably grabbed it from a gas station. My brother didn't even look at me. He was too busy accepting applause, gifts, praise. I smiled anyway. Because I hadn't come to impress them. I came to finish something. The waiter approached to collect gifts. My mother stopped him. "Oh no, open that one here," she said, pointing at my bottle. "Let's see what she brought." Lauren hesitated politely. "You don't have to." But my parents insisted. The paper came off. A few people squinted at the label. Silence. Then laughter. "I've never even heard of this brand," my uncle said. "Looks like one of those fake imported wines," my cousin added. My mother shook her head dramatically. "You know, some people just don't understand quality." I sat down slowly. Calm. Still smiling. Because they were about to learn something they'd never bothered to ask. Part 2, the price of silence. The sommelier arrived late, tall, nervous, clearly rushed from another event. He glanced at the bottle on the table. Then froze. He leaned closer. "Read the label again." His face changed. "Where did you get this?" he asked quietly. My mother scoffed. "Is it drinkable, or should we toss it?" The man swallowed. "Ma'am, this bottle is from a private vineyard in Bordeaux. Limited release. Only 12 bottles sold worldwide last year." The room went still. My father frowned. "And?" The sommelier cleared his throat. "Its last auction price was $15,000. Silence didn't fall. It crashed. Lauren's smile vanished. My brother finally looked at me. My mother's face drained of color. "That's not possible," my aunt whispered. I stood up. "It is," I said calmly. "I bought it 6 months ago." My father laughed weakly. "With what money?" I met his eyes. "The same money I earned running the company you told everyone failed." Gasps rippled across the table. I continued. "The same company you mocked. The same one you never asked about because you already decided who I was." The sommelier stepped back respectfully. No one laughed now. My brother's voice cracked. "Why didn't you say anything?" I picked up my purse. "Because tonight wasn't about proving myself. It was about watching you reveal yourselves." I turned to my parents. "You mocked what you didn't recognize, just like you mocked me." I walked out before anyone could stop me. Behind me, the most expensive wine in the room sat unopened. Just like their respect had been. Until it was far too late. After I left the engagement hall, I didn't go home. I needed space to breathe, to feel the satisfaction of what had just happened. My parents' faces, pale and frozen in disbelief, kept replaying in my mind like a scene from a movie. I knew they would call me, I knew they would try to spin it, but I didn't care. Tonight I wasn't the quiet daughter. Tonight I was untouchable. The next morning my phone blew up. Messages, calls, even texts from family friends who had witnessed the scene. Some congratulated me discreetly. Others couldn't hide the shock in their words. "I can't believe you did that. Wow, that wine, incredible. Your parents must be mortified." But the real fun began a week later, when my mother, desperate to regain some control, invited me for lunch. She tried the same old tactics: sweet voice, soft smile, fake concern. "We just want to understand," she began. "Understand what?" I asked, sipping my coffee calmly. Why you embarrassed us." I leaned back, smiling. Embarrassed? Oh no, I didn't embarrass anyone. I simply revealed the truth. That's all. Her lips tightened. My father, who had arrived uninvited, tried to interrupt. I held up my hand. "Please, let me finish. I am not the one who embarrassed themselves. Mocking what you didn't understand, that's embarrassing. Judging me for a gift without knowing its value, that's embarrassing." I watched the color drain from their faces again. Satisfaction washed over me. "I spent months finding that wine," I continued. "I researched, saved, and bought it with money I earned working hard while you mocked every effort I made. And yet somehow I'm the cheap one." Silence. "I hope you remember this the next time you try to define me based on your assumptions." I left the restaurant before they could answer. This time, I didn't even look back. Over the next few months, things shifted. At family gatherings, the whispers stopped. The jokes stopped. My parents tried subtly to regain influence, but I was no longer the easy target. Every glance at me carried a mixture of respect, fear, and disbelief. Even my brother, who had never taken me seriously, began asking for advice. Not because he suddenly respected me, but because he realized that underestimating me came with consequences. And as for the wine, I never even opened it. It remained in my apartment, a silent trophy of the night I proved something they could never take away: my worth. By the next engagement season, I had changed the narrative completely. The quiet daughter had vanished, replaced by someone my family couldn't mock, belittle, or dismiss. I had finally rewritten the rules. And in doing so, I had won. Months passed since the engagement disaster, and life quietly, but powerfully, shifted in my favor. My parents, once so confident in their judgment, now approached me with caution, like walking on thin ice. I thrived in my career, my social circle grew, and I finally started enjoying the freedom of being unapologetically myself. But there was one family event left: my brother Ethan's wedding. The invitations arrived, a glossy, extravagant card, just as I expected. My parents assumed they could still dictate the narrative, expecting me to play the sweet, supportive daughter once more. But I had other plans. On the wedding day, I arrived fashionably late, wearing a stunning dress and carrying a gift that turned every head in the room: a box so elegantly wrapped it could belong in a magazine. My parents whispered to each other, sneering under their breath. "I bet it's another cheap joke gift." I smiled politely and let them stew. When Ethan opened my gift in front of everyone, their eyes nearly popped out of their heads. Inside was a custom, hand-blown crystal decanter engraved with his initials, accompanied by a rare bottle of vintage Bordeaux, worth over $25,000. The room went silent. Even Lauren gasped. My parents turned pale. My father's jaw tightened. My mother's lips quivered, trying to form a response, but no words came out. I didn't know you could get something like this," Ethan stammered, holding back awe. I smiled warmly. "Of course. It's just a little something for my big brother, to celebrate the start of your new life." The subtle sting was unmistakable. Everyone noticed. The laughter, the judgment, the endless comparisons, they all fell flat like a deflated balloon. Later, during the reception, I overheard my mother whispering to my father. "We underestimated her, again." I caught their eyes across the room. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just stood tall, enjoying the quiet satisfaction of having finally leveled the playing field. That night, I realized something important. Revenge wasn't about humiliating them repeatedly. It was about proving my own worth on my own terms. And in that moment, I didn't need their approval or their recognition. I walked out of the wedding feeling lighter than I had in years. My parents learned a lesson they couldn't erase. My brother and his new wife got a gift they'd never forget, and I finally understood that true victory is silent, confident, and unapologetically earned. The end, white heavy check mark.